Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to all things Manchester United. Coming off a defeat against Leeds United at home, we are here to bring you 5 takeaways from the game, and we'll just basically go into a deep dive and analyze and break down everything. Basically, 1981, that was the last time that Leeds actually walked out of Old Trafford with a league win. To put that into perspective, Michael Carrick is only a few months old, but tonight, that 45-year Hoodoo is over. Now, like I said, welcome back to United Talks podcast. We're doing the takeaway show, and I will be honest with you, this one stings like a wasp. It's the first time that we have tasted defeat under Michael Carrick at Old Trafford, and it's a loss to our bitter rivals from across the pennines, right? And it happened in the most chaotic, only at Old Trafford way possible, right? Very disappointing. A 2-1 defeat that featured a 24-day layoff, a Noah Okafor brace, a bizarre VAR-inspired red card for Lisandro Martinez, and a late surge that saw us denied on the goal line twice. We're still third in the table, but the gap to the chasing pack is feeling a little smaller tonight. Today, we're discussing exactly what went wrong. We've got 5 takeaways on why we looked so rusty, 3 bonus insights on the individual battles that decided the game, and 3 positive spins to keep us sane before we head into the massive clash with Chelsea. The unbeaten home run is gone. The Leeds Hoodoo is broken, and let's figure out why this has happened. Now, we're going to talk about takeaway number one, the 5 takeaways. Of the 5 takeaways, the 24-day rust is a momentum killer. The biggest takeaway before the ball was even kicked was the 24-day gap. And I thought Man United could have probably taken advantage of this, despite the fact that there was a 10-day or 12-day international break in between. We haven't played since the chaotic 2-2 draw at Bournemouth, and it showed. Right, in the first 20 minutes, we look like the team that had just met in the car park. Right, passing was crispless. The movement was a bit sluggish, and defensive coordination was non-existent. Leeds came in fighting for their lives, and they played with a rhythm. We just couldn't match them. Right? You cannot give a team a 3-week head start on intensity and expect to win in the Premier League. The truth is, that is why it was very disappointing for me to accept that Man United had a 24-day break between games. Even after the international break, we still had another 14 days. And basically, Leeds had a run of games. They had the FA Cup as well. Right, then the semi-final now, and they've been playing, right? So they even had one game before us, and in that 2 weeks, if you have one game every 7 days, it's typical for what Leeds will do to prepare for the clash, and they came out swinging, properly, right? So it was pretty disappointing. It made us look a little bit rusty. We looked tired and all of that. It felt like Bruno had run and hit a brick wall, even when he usually used to run every other time. So I don't know what that break did, right? They said Michael Carrick said it was good, but for me, I don't know what that break did. Takeaway number two is the defensive errors and the Euro learning curve. Now we have to talk about the opening goal. Euro has been fantastic, but tonight was kind of like a reminder why he's still young and he's playing in a man's league. He barely even makes the French national team because obviously he's leading the under-21s and he's 20. The poor-headed clearance that fell straight to Okafor, which I don't blame him for because we were in 6s and 7s at the time. That was a lapse in concentration as well because nobody even jumped out to try to, clear the thing. And I won't blame him for that poor header because the ref could have called him back knowing that, Dominic Calvert-Lewin hit him in the head. Right, but then the second goal, a 20-yard volley that takes a deflection off Euro, who everybody might want to be blaming and all of that, it's unlucky because obviously he came out to actually block, but we allowed Leeds too much space on the edge of the box all night, right? And that was actually Casemiro's space to defend. Our rest defense, the way we set up when we have the ball, was completely compromised by Dominic Calvert-Lewin's physicality. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin played to it and bullied us, right? So it all boils down to a whole lot of things that we need to actually look at, especially as a team. The way we plan for games, the way we prepare for games, the way we, set up and all of that. Despite all of the time that we had to prepare for the game, despite all the time that we had to even look at like the dossier for the opposing team, we still couldn't come up with something to actually defeat Leeds, especially when we know that they're high flying and high pressing, right? Now, number 3 is Lisandro Martinez hair pull red card, right? This is actually going to be the talking point for weeks, basically. Licha returns from 5 games out, makes a heroic goal line block in the first half, and then gets sent off for pulling a hair. Look at the way it is. If you look at it, it's very bizarre and it's bemusing. Martinez was clearly frustrated with Calvert-Lewin, but in the VAR era, you cannot give the officials an excuse. Like I said, that's why I said in the match review, I'm not going to blame the ref for anything. I'm not going to say anything about the ref because the truth is we were even bad on the day, right? Whether you think it's a violent conduct or a scrap, it cost us the game. We were 2 goals down and fighting back, going down to 10 men in the 56th minute, turned it into a mountain that we need to climb, and turned that same mountain into Mount Everest. Because the truth is, 2 goals down, keep your cool, defend well, don't fall into the trap of Dominic Calvert-Lewin being very aggressive. And then, in the end, what do? You try to help us get the win. But even in the first half, with Licha Martinez in the lineup, we were still in 6s and 7s. There was no organization in the back. So we have to call it out. And immediately after the first goal went in, I said to myself, and I even posted on our WhatsApp groups, I said, Licha Martinez needs to leave this club. He needs to get out of the club because he can't stay fit to save his life. And then when he comes back, he's still like not as fast as we expect him to, even though I know he's not that fast. But then in a game like this, you don't start Licha, you start Heaven. And that's where I blame Michael Carrick for this. Heaven has been preparing. He came on when Maguire was sent off in the last game against Bournemouth. Give him a chance. No doubt he's 19 or 18 or whatever it is. Give him a chance. He will build from there. That partnership between him and Euro will be a partnership of maturity. They will both play out from the back or play long when necessary, but they will play well. And Heaven has defended against Calvert-Lewin and done it really well before. He's defended against Ole Watkins and done it really well. Why not give him a chance? So it's really disappointing. Now we are forced to play the same Ed in Heaven against Chelsea. That is the thing. Because Licha is out, Maguire is out. I'm tired of this. Anyway, takeaway number 4, Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. The only way to score. Yeah. If we have to revert to long balls, then it all boils down. It all tells us what it all tells us what we are going into when it comes to having Michael Carrick as the manager. So, takeaway number 4, if Bruno Fernandes doesn't create it and Casemiro doesn't head it, do we actually score? Do we actually score? I saw Casemiro wave his hand at Ahmad when Ahmad made that cross that was deflected out, the bad cross or the poor cross that was deflected out. And then when he made that, he waved his hand at Ahmad to say, don't worry, I'm taking care of it. He had the opportunity to cross it from deep into Casemiro's head, literally. Just at the brink, Casemiro just came from the offside trap, set himself up and headed directly at goal. It's so disappointing, man. Right? Bruno now has 17 assists for the season, and that's an astronomical number with 8 games, with 7 games still to play. 6 games still to play. Casemiro has 8 goals. Our defensive midfielder is arguably our most reliable goal threat. While it's great to have that veteran leadership, it highlights a worrying reliance. We rely on crosses into the box. Where was the threat from the wings? Where were the crosses? Why did we need 10 men disadvantage to actually finally start testing Cardalo? It's disappointing. Yeah, like I said, I'm tired of this, like, basically repeating the same thing over and over again, but it is what it is. Takeaway number 5, the fortress has faltered, but the spirit has remained. Just trying to be positive from all of this. The final takeaway is our first home loss under Michael Carrick, and while the result is a disaster, the second half response with 10 men was actually more united than the first half with 11. Like I said, Licha Martinez being in that team the first half, nah. I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, he even made that pass that led to the goal line tackle. But yeah, we saw Ugarte shot blocked. Casemiro's header cleared off the line by Calvert-Lewin, who was everywhere basically, and Dalot firing wide late on, or even like way over the post. We didn't fold. United stayed electric, and the team fought until the 97th minute. The fortress has a crack in the wall, but the foundation hasn't crumbled yet. Now, with regards to bonus insights from this, you just got to find some positive insights to take from this. Calvert-Lewin masterclass, basically. We have to give credit where credit is due, basically. Dominic Calvert-Lewin didn't score. Dominic Calvert-Lewin didn't score, but he won Leeds that game. He recorded 5 shots, 9 touches in our box, and won the most duels on the pitch. But more importantly, he was there. He was their best defender. Yeah, that's a fact. That clearance off the line to deny Casemiro's second goal was a good one, was as good as a match winner. He bullied our centre-backs, especially Leniero at some point, and more Licha Martinez. He bullied our centre-backs and got into Martinez's head. It was a classic old-school striker's performance, and he knew what he was doing. He's very experienced to do this. I thought Licha Martinez was experienced enough to know what's going on. Crazy. Anyway, the second one is Manuel Ugate's first start under Michael Carrick, which is the bonus insight to this. With Kobe Menu out, Ugarte finally got the nod. How did he do? Well, it was a mixed bag. It was an underrated performance. He was a bit tigerish in his tackles and almost scored at the death, but also you could see that he doesn't quite have that pauser, right? That pauser, a control like Kobe Menu, keep things down, move the ball, deal with tight spaces. But he's also defensively astute. He was able to make some tackles, right? The midfield felt a bit more like static. I'm not going to say it was porous, but it was just a bit static, and because of that, it felt like we needed to deal with it, and this is something that Michael Carrick needs to address. But the truth is, the only mature head we have is Manuel Ugarte. But Carrick needs to address it if Kobe Menu is out for a longer time. But it is what it is. Yeah. Now, bonus insight number 3 is that it is the 1981 start, and it is finally dead. For years, Leeds fans have had to endure, this since 1981 jokes to lose that record at home in a season where we've been so dominant in the M16. Feels like a historical anomaly. We've not lost a game since December. We lost one. I think we lost one against Newcastle, and then to now lose again against Leeds is really disappointing. But then it's a reminder that in derbies, form and history often go out the window when the team is fighting for relegation. I mean, Leeds played like their lives depended on it, and we played like we are still on holiday. Like, it's disappointing. Trust me, it is. Anyway, let's look at the positives. Let's take some positives from this, man. Let's take some positives. We have 3 positive spins. First and foremost, the top 4 cushion is still healthy a little bit. Let's breathe. We are 3rd. We have a 7-point cushion on Chelsea in 6th. And yes, we lost to Leeds, but we are still in a very promising position to secure Champions League football. And if we had offered any United fan 3rd place with a 7-point cushion in April at the start of the season, we'll probably have beaten your hand off. But it is what it is. Positive spin number 2, Bruno Fernandes breaking the league. 17 assists, and he's legitimately chasing the all-time Premier League record for a single season, which is 20, right? He has 17. There's like 6 games to go. If he gets an assist from each game, that takes him to 26, right? In a game where we were so poor for 60 minutes, he still found a way to deliver a world-class cross for that goal by Casemiro. We have the best playmaker in the world right now, and that alone gives us the chance in every game remaining. Now, one thing you have to think about is, even when Bruno was deployed from the deep, he was still creating chances. That's even more damning for like what we need, especially in midfield for next season. Like, bro, but it is what it is. Especially for those who come out to say Bruno's best position is in the number 10. His best position is everywhere on the pitch, man. Everywhere on the pitch. But it is what it is. Now, I thought when we went down to 10 men, this is what takes us to positive spin number 3. I thought that when we went down to 10 men, that we would have to basically defend for our lives, considering that we're already 2 goals down. But Carrick made some substitutions that really made impacts in the game. Dalot and Mbomo, they made us more dangerous with 10 men than we were with 11, because Bruno was deployed deeper, which made Casemiro go up top. It was such a weird, imbalanced, weird imbalanced chemistry that happened there. It showed that Carrick, wasn't afraid to go for it when the odds were stacked up against us. We outshot Leeds 20-15 overall. But if we play that with that intensity from the first minute against Chelsea, we'll probably blow them away, because Chelsea also coming off, bad run of form. But yeah, my final take from this is that it was a night of what ifs. What if we hadn't had a 24-day break? What if Licha hadn't lost his head? What if Calvert-Lewin wasn't standing on the line in the 85th minute? So many what ifs. But at the end of the day, Leeds leave Old Trafford with 3 points for the first time in 45 years, and it's a bitter pill to swallow, and we have to just accept it. But it's a wake-up call as well, because we cannot afford to be slow starters when the Champions League places are on the line. And with 6 games to go, we need to secure the Champions League spaces, whether there are 5 teams making the Champions League and all whatnot. We need to secure the Champions League spaces. Right, at least the 3rd spot, secure it, hold it down. I mean, by now we could have probably been 58 points and 3 points ahead of Aston Villa, but yeah, and we face a very tough Chelsea. Now, here's my final take for the comments section today. The Lisandro Martinez red card, is it a disgrace from the officials, or is it a moment of madness from a player who should know better? Because he was explaining literally, like, okay, anyway. And looking ahead to Chelsea, with Licha now suspended and Harry Maguire also out, who on earth is going to be the starting centre-back for next week? I already told you during the show, I said it's going to be by force. We're going to be forced, unless Michael Carrick does one thing where I don't expect. Maybe Casemiro is back and he decides to play Casemiro as centre back, which I don't expect that to happen. But we are going to be forced to play Eden Heaven and Lenny Euro by force. Keyword force. We're going to be forced to play Eden Heaven and Lenny Euro by force. Anyway, give me your tactical fixes in the comment section. Smash the like button, and if you're still backing Carrick and the Carrick revolution, if it's still on or the manager bounce is done. And make sure you're subscribed to United Talks podcast for everything that is positive when it comes to post-match, because I'm trying to find some positives to kind of inspire myself and inspire you guys that are listening. But yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to all things Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.